How's the mic? We like it. It's not ringing, so that's good. Okay, talking. Thank you all for coming. Okay. All right. Proceed with the talking. So, for the couple of people in the room who I don't know personally yet, thank you for being here. For, I don't know if we're streaming or if we're recording, but okay. I don't know who goes to a birthday reading without knowing at least one of the readers, so if you happen to find yourself at this and have no idea who any of us are, special thanks to you. Because everybody needs an audience. I've been piling up birthdays pretty seriously over the last some years. I think Doug gathers them up and puts them with the words that he sweeps off the floor. But whatever the case might be, I appreciate a lot of you as poets. A lot of the people in the room are poets. And I'm grateful that you're willing to come do this thing and listen to poetry, because there's nothing like live show. And I'm going to say a thing about bookstores and places like this, which is we get to keep what we support. I'll leave you with two thoughts about supporting things. One of the thoughts is this bookstore and sort of cultural entity is really important. And there's a QR code there. But also, the weather has been getting pretty cold. And it would be good if people who are living outside were not cold. So anything you guys can do about that as well. But you're not obligated to any of it. And I'm about to change the tone. So our first poet, Hyeji Lee, I met because of our friend Isaiah, and who is also one of the students who's probably going to be seriously impacted by the shift for CCA. So be especially kind and wonderful to somebody who completely impressed me and is still under 20. So feel free for a little bit of resentment, but also some amazement. Come on up, Hyeji.
I'm allowed to sit if I need to, correct? Oh, wow. That just got really loud.
Yeah, you're fine.
Hi! How is everyone tonight? That's something great. Thank you. So my name is Hyeji. My name is Hyeji. I am one of...
I can't hear you.
You literally... I see you on campus all the time. But I am one of the few remaining writing literature students of CCA. I am a poet. I do things. And yes, I also bother Kim every once in a while. But I'm so glad that she and I exist at the same time. And tonight I will be reading Silver Bodies. It is originally 60 pages, but before everyone starts to leave, I'm only reading 5. And so, yes, I will be reading an excerpt from Silver Bodies. Reverberating jawbones growl inside of the throat. Teeth, tongue, saliva, salvation. I suddenly can't stop crying. Nudge me with your head and use your hands to wipe away tears. Teeth, 20, tongue, saliva, 60, salvation. You are so angry, 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 and there is nothing waiting for you beyond this but me. When I am not let inside the house again for the last time, I'll make sure to check the locks and the windows and everything else I used to get back inside. quietly and softly. Last night I did not dream of you, but how the shadow of your shadow lingered in the corner of my eye, and if I thought of the way I thought about you, I would see nothing but dead ends with headlock situations, and even then my patience will be surpassed by my own selfishness. And even then, my patience will be surpassed by my own selfishness. Demolition in 30. I listened to everyone but you because I believed the best way to heal was to think that you hurt me. The silver body is beginning to tarnish and I have found myself becoming unsustainable. Silver body in 92.5 weight, 7.5 in other messes. Witness the rust of the self. I have no anger but for you. For myself, I am just the sand in an hourglass melting into something. Nothing from something, something from nothing. Follow that path. There is no cure to shaking hands in fear. The only way out for me, for you, for all of us is through. Open your head up. Crack it open with ice picks and chainsaws. I must give up teeth and gums, soaking up blood and taurine. Aluminium cans with lipstick marks tapering down into emptiness. Unholy, unrecognizable. Holy, unrecognizable. Cities aren't forever. Then what will you turn to? Ribbons cannot hold me too long before I start to writhe and crawl out and out and out into new skin and new name spaces becoming doors all over and over again. The belt buckle is still tarnished with my lipstick, the imprint on my cheek. Little stars fall from the ceiling to give life to those who need it. Pitying colors and beautiful eyes. Cyanotype miracles are chemical. Can you hold them together for a moment? Priming light and printing the shape of what I have felt on my back. Flash in the pan, one-time bullet in my direction. Hold the textured grip and slide your pinky over the magazine. Back and forth. Point, aim, shoot. Ruined by inability, staying still, still and soft, no matter how much you work, they can't bear to place bleeding cuts on your hands. See this, read this. There is a room out in the small port city of Pohang, South Korea. It holds pity and purity. The water doesn't run and the vinyl floors need to be cleaned. Dust-covered countertops whispering that quiet shame. Silver-bodied mannequins, smooth and iconoclastic in non-commercial ways. From 45 to 55, I will always change shape or form, and you will always have things to carry. I'll tell people what I saw in you, and you can tell people how I was. Red line crossing over the blue ones to prove that I can set it straight and neat. There is nowhere to run off to. Instead, I must face what the world has done, what it has left me. A slowing body and crashing ribs, they shift a little to the left with just the right sound. The heart pinches from the back before lifting into my throat. My mannequin body has grown soft with flesh and blood. Something this warm has never felt real to me. You have never been warmer than when you were my best kept secret. My biggest mistake was thinking that I could be what I wanted to be, you, and maybe not trusting my own judgment. To be divine is to bow down to what hurts you. That favorite story is the one I forget. Is it too late to say anything about it? Is it too late to say that I did doubt it? Is it too late to say that I never doubted it? One way or another, I will dig my messy bitten nails into what I want and I will have it. Until I have forgiven myself and startled you, I cannot take my hands off my eyes, covered in lace veils and silvered bodies. All I see is what is unholy and unrecognizable, the wholly unrecognizable. Restriction and conviction go hand in hand when dissecting the truth of what makes a person. Self-control is a virtue that you can only hear about, and they go far out to papers and pens. There is plenty of room for me to undo the lock that hangs around my neck. It can only weigh me down for so long. The cage is being worn down by nearly broken teeth, all the way down to the nerve. My conscience presses into my already weak ribs, preventing me from breathing any more than I should. I do it anyway. In the drawer, a small key and tooth sit there, waiting to be used. I can't hear you over the sounds of my incomplete body, needing to hear my own thoughts tell me that I'm right. I want you to witness me striking every single match in the box. Do not underestimate the strength of numbers. 34, 56, 78, 90, 12, tasting pure fluid and pitchers of water turning redder and redder. The rattling is real and it will scare you. And once again, my silver body has finally started to crumble and hit the ground in violent ways. And I still believe in you, my dear parish, more than I have ever had faith in myself. And I will not prove myself to you. I have never been your god, but that silver-bodied idol, the mannequin's dilemma, is my testament, not human enough, but too human to be an object. With the last of the body losing its head in the weight of silver, the bell tolls for the first time. To the parish of unseeing eyes and non-hearing ears, you have had your last meal. The time is nigh, and you must make a choice. To my lambs and the wolves that have become their backs, you have had the last breath of air. Mannequin, silver, body, hold on for now. The silver bodies are looming, about to crash into the ground. And from dust thou art, and to dust thou shalt return. I have never shed a single tear for anyone who has been a part of my deconstructed. So I proved it to you. Numbers, letters, convictions, and all. Throwing out an arm and the tooth, clinking keys. The dogs of God bark through the streets, racing down winding alley roads with that blazing fire, torching houses, tearing down debris. Spring is coming, and I want you to need me back. And a cruel God comes walking under the April sun. Thank you.
So you were at 15, 16 when you published your first book? Yeah. Just saying. Our next reader is Lauren Ito, who I met at the Mechanics Institute, where she had come to hear tango and met me, and we're now working on a book together. So come on up. Lauren Ito. Big noise for Lauren Ito.
Okay, getting back into it. This is my first time reading in probably over a year. Everything is new, which I'm very excited about. And because I have some friends from my swim pod here today, you'll see that there's quite a few water-related poems. This first one is Saltwater Siren. Sea crystals shimmer in my hair, born of abalone, iridescent cradle, lulled by tides into consciousness, awakened. Full moon conjures swells that polish shards, birthing sand, nudging oyster until pearl arises. We are all made of stardust, transmuted by sea, held together by water. Our power is more than a wave, for we are ocean. Thank you. Also, we can hold the applause till the very end, so that way I want to be mindful of time for all of the amazing poets for Kim's birthday. Thank you. This next one is called Summon. Talismans come in all shapes and shades, drenched clotheslines, seashells, and beach stone. Forget-me-nots press between morning pages, bougainvillea tea at dawn. We mine the present, tiptoe affirmations, even as we trudge through salt ponds, even as cliffs ready their daggers, even as sinew shudders skin. Don't trust these mirages, their underbellies are slicked with blood. Some myths birth monsters, gnawing, wild at dawn. Lengthen spine. Summon fearless heartbeats with fearless hands, tend gardens of laughter generously. So soft earthen beds nourish feet, breathe starlight into battered bones hot with summer, knowing now is the time to summon rain. And this is from is written about the place where my great-grandfather would have immigrated from, called Tomioka. Starlight ripples across Tomioka Bay's seas, ascends temple turrets, curls into smile lines, suspends in lush mountains, dried persimmons, shell lanyards, ume sweets, delights draped across bodies adorning destinies, flanked in moonlight. Trust these divine messages as they float into your pupils, Kai bounty, dappled sunlit skin, strong arms, nimble legs, choreography weaving night sky timelines together. Believe the voices when they whisper to let these blessings land. November 19th, death anniversary. Ancestors conspiring for tears of glee. Let this wave carry you, it always has, whether or not you choose to see its glow. And then this is, thank you, one I will close out with. And just happy birthday, Cam. It is, we've been through some birthdays together. We really have, yes. Mending. Between rock and stone, embers and floorboard ash, we are learning the meaning of fire. How mending sings of possibility intangible at times, like the promise of a green flash at sunset. Yet I believe healing lies beyond my greatest self-criticisms. The snarl of wounds calcified begins to soften, water and salt, and chimes of sand under sea, ever-changing. This reminder to ride the tides, even as the sky burns. Thank you.
I don't think I'm going to try that again. On the outside without a hand on something. That was a little scary. I walked out of the house without my cane today is what happened. So I'm a little bit. Our next poet is K.R. Morrison, who I'm pretty sure I was introduced to by Paul Corman Roberts, as with many of the great things in my life. Some people will probably be wondering why Paul is not reading tonight, and it's because he's reading with me at the library later this month. So try to spread it around a little bit. But yeah, KR and I, mostly what we do is read poems and eat artichokes together. Welcome up.
I am going to take like 30 seconds to say, when I met Kim, I was barefoot at Beast Crawl reading poems.
That's right.
And I had no idea I was about to spiral into a major dark night of the soul. And I was at that kitchen table during that dark night of the soul. And I always say, when my mom died, she sent my brothers partners and she sent me mothers. And she definitely, I think, aligned that. And being at that table and those artichokes and Doug, that's like one of my favorite nests. So I'm honored to be here and reading for you. Duh, I wouldn't be anywhere else. I'm going to do like the tech poets do, which I can't believe. I don't have a printer up here, so we'll see how this goes. This first one's called What's in a Tear. In the wailing of a newborn baby, I find the end. In the shedding of premature wounds, the end was a snake searching for a labyrinth overgrown with Eden. I search the apple, hungry for the roots of magnolia trees. In the wailing of a newborn baby, there are Old Testaments thirsty for prayers, for two hands weathered by lifetimes, rosaries chained to endings. Women can't afford to trust an ending. In the jaws of epilogues huffs a dragon, fire without majesty, too many skies and fights to choose. A woman harbors wombs in her stories, and in that darkness, endings conjure cycles searching for messengers. In the end, there are hurricanes that remember those wailing newborn babies. Wildfires, they flower in a serpent's uterus. In the wailing of a newborn baby, I hear horses thundering. In every tear, the horses are coming. Oh, you don't have to do that. Okay, so this one I wrote, and you were there, when we all were together in this new leadership, and we were all upset and sad and freaking out, and now we're right in the thick of it, in the belly of it. But I remember you like this, so I sort of revised it, and it's called Revolutionary Notes for the Poet in 2026. Salvage a wounded comrade from evil eye. Cauldron lady wounds into a boil. Blistering only monsters in three-piece, I mean two-party suits. When the grown-ups aren't watching, whisper to the child, baby, you don't have to let everyone wrap their guilty hands around you. Throw death into the garbage can. Recycle rebirths into rabbits no longer afraid, no longer anxious. Rabbits ready for rebel waterships, no longer down but full steam ahead. Mount an altar for souls homeless. 13 candles for 13 moons burning Diane de Prima's favorite songs. Follow the wolves in our dreams. Return with deer bones and spears in our fists, blessed by Kalima and Lemurian seahorses. Sit still in the fire we evoke, every poem relentlessly read, every word a raven. Translate messages stuffed under the tongue of a Mandarin sunrise, refusing sedation. And when we are angry enough, write giant White Houses and all their prophet goblins into the flames, stoke conversations with just the right, left people. Convince the indifferent that their fear is tired, typical. Manifest words that cut into the flesh of ignorance. From storms and havoc, may we salvage a stork from what's sterile. Deliver joy from wombs of our bitterness. Feed our weeds to the bluebirds who sing from the trees. The ride is supposed to be rough. It's how the wind conjures revolutionaries. Let me read just one more. I'm going to read In Her There Is Winter, and then I'm going to get out of here. So. In her there is winter, bone mother and shadow sisters embodying ways of the raccoon. In her shelters, those Virgos, those who had to learn plans of the perpetrator. In her there is winter, night artists who enlist we instead of I, pens and guitars and colors on caves that banish the encore. In her are children with tangles in their hair, snakes unraveling for rebirths, children detangling old narratives starring loss and deception. In her winter are children who shovel beside comrades searching for golden eggs, birthing more children who unlearn the ways of wounded adults, kids conjuring the liminal revolutionary languages, seeds of spring. Kim, happy birthday, I love you. Oh, that's a little spell there.
Hey, don't drop spells. No scattering spells randomly. You've got to hire special cleaning people to get that off the floor. Whew. So, I kind of did this consciously, but it's fun listening to it unfold. There was a period of time up until well into my 50s that there were parts of the city that if I read there, I was the youngest person on the bill. And that is not a healthy biome. You need an array of people, right? You need an array of people Tamina Khan teaches the Poetry for the People poetry class out at City. And this next poet I met at one of those and just went, oh yeah, no. Wearing a dress with, I believe it was polyhedral dice on it. Yeah. And just said a poem that choked me up. So please welcome Elle McIntyre.
It was a dress entirely of D20s. Okay. And, well, which, I mean, dodecahedrons? But polyhedral dice. When I was invited to come here, Kim told me that when she gets invited to read places, she doesn't read her own poems, that she reads other people's poems. And it's fitting that you mentioned that dress, because I brought a poem by one of my many Dungeons & Dragons characters. This is a poem written by the Ghost Orchid. She's a level 14 Soul Knife rogue. I'm sure that means a lot to everyone. You probably... Yeah, okay. Yeah. She's known for well-renowned capers such as the Deposit of Lord Gallatin's Reverse Fortune, the Ovation Island Holdup, and the Destruction of the Dolnatath Bridge. Miss Orchid resides in Loria Syrcanos and spends her time training the next generation of master burglars. In our delicate profession of burglary, there exists a spark. We are not alone in holding tight such brilliance. No. I believe all those who are masters of their craft possess this necessary ingredient. It is in this way that a burglar finds commonality with the shipwright who sails through the sky, the artificer, harnessing mysteries into simple, mundane provisions, the battlemaster even, studying an enemy with careful attention, silent respect, striking true only after achieving victory in their mind. Dear listener, other guides will hold your hand, leading you step by step by step. But all is for naught should you fail to journey without your spark. With your spark, I will welcome you into my retreat, invite you to open yourself to knowledge and drill, to success and failure, to share misery, certainly lessening its burden, to share eclat, certainly multiplying across its comrades, and yes, to meet an ale. Each bonded pair, just like the sides of golden dragons stacked high in the coffers of your mark. Try as you might, you cannot take half a coin. If these words do not ring true with you, sit with them yourself, and I hope you return with spark in hand. In our delicate profession of burglary, there exists intention. These next two I wrote. This is Sea Serpents 2. I'd like to tell you how I was at the beach, getting to know someone, that while lying on the blanket, my toes stretched into the sand and the warm sun, if just for a moment, it was blotted out of the sky by soft lips that bent down to mine. I'd like to tell you that time stood still, yet I could hear the waves continuing to lap across the surf. I'd like to tell you how pale skin welcomed olive, golden hair danced with fires and earths. Suspended in this moment, I want to tell you how each woman's embrace holds me. I'd like to tell you how the lover's arms held backs rising and falling, that hot breath filled the other as much as it does myself. It doesn't matter that she covers my eyes while golds push through, reflecting the light of my world, An infinite kaleidoscope unfurls as she tightens. Blood and light and darkness count together. My eyes waltz and swirl. I disappointed you the day that colors intertwined and formed their own bodies, together and separate. Her hair, her hands, their mouths. There's so much I want to tell you, and yet... and this is my last one. Policy. It is the policy of the United States government to establish high standards for troop readiness, lethality, cohesion, honesty, humility, uniformity, and integrity. I am the soldier of the year, a silent face in the woodline meeting your eyes, affirming with a nod through fogged lenses. I am connected to you through a dial tone, dropping everything to hold you by the bridge in the blinding white of waiting rooms 2:30, guided by the wail of the sickly ambulance delivering us one more sunrise. I am get that fucking gun up. I am the soldier of the year, the heart of the fight through swamps and mountains and sand. You stood with me, mentored me, followed me. Policy. Expressing a false gender identity divergent from an individual's sex cannot satisfy the rigorous standards necessary for military service. It is not consistent with the humility and selflessness required of a service member, and conflicts with a soldier's commitment to an honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle, even in one's personal life. I am another mandatory training. The it, which slides with glee from your mouth as you recount meeting someone like me. I am sitting across the damp cardboard that separates our books from the mud we've made our home, sharing cigarettes and M&Ms and laughter until I am pulled from the present by words not to me, not for me, but nevertheless a stray through the mess of spades and smoke. I am what a fucking faggot. I am another mandatory training. A scapegoat, a spit of disgust, a threat of violence that you veil as a joke. And yet, I stood with you, I followed you, and I led you. Thank you. Whew.
Hey, for those who don't know it already, if you stop being able to write a poem that makes you cry, quit. No shit. I think Paul introduced us as well. Probably. That sounds right. I'm not continuing to evoke Paul just to prove that I know men.
We all know one man. It's Paul.
And it's Paul. Every one of us knows one man. I think so. This is kind of there is a way in which nearly everything that I curate these days is somehow about Paul. There are people you meet, and there are a few of them here tonight, where you just go, oh yeah, I need to know that person better than I know them from just sitting in an audience. And Lauren was one of those people. And so I've been tapping Lauren a lot for readings. And I don't regret or deny that that's intentional at all. Lauren Parker.
It's not hard to say yes. It's always an honor when Kim asks me to be a part of anything, because Kim is always doing amazing things. Happy birthday, Kim. I spent a year doing promoting a book, and it turns 1 tomorrow. Thank you. And I have to say, I'm so sick of this book. It's like it's what I imagine like being in a band with your spouse and then touring with it is like. But it did feel important to read a poem from it in honor of the occasion, and this is one I haven't read very much. And this is called Silver Screen. We pulled into the drive-in with dry mouths. The last mile I had listed all the ways in which I was better than anyone you've ever loved. And I think you'd gotten tired of me. The heat making your hair lose its curl. Cacti have been the only arms outstretched to us. Bushy heaps of things, their claws blooming. I play the Stooges, loudly. Iggy shouting into the wind, unraveling celluloid, the saint that blesses us. The wind wets your eyes and bleeds your lipstick, and I'd still kiss you. We pull into the drive-in, and the boy taking the money and running the card machine looks a lot like a young Elvis. Hair black and oily, slick and strong. I worry he'll try and take you from me. But you don't even blink at him. You blink at Bowie on the screen. He's willowed, stitched in, a shadow under a hat. The strange thing about movies is that they don't tell you anything. We sip our Cokes, the first fluid we've drunk that isn't each other, in 60 miles. Sun setting, I put my arm around you. We are a movie about a movie. Shadows over a brilliant screen. The funny thing about movies is they don't tell you anything. We spend the night in the car, parked in the lot, stretched across the bench seats of my inherited Chevelle, seeking my inherited past. Daddy Duke's mouth curls as he says, "Are you a family man? A man should spend time with his family." I feel my way down the highway, looking for my family, Daddy Duke, Daddy Dyke. He floats across the screen, I float across the desert. A guy like you wouldn't understand a guy like me. Thank you. Yeah, I think we met through Paul. That's the only answer I can come up with, Kim. Yeah, and I was instantly very starstruck, and every time Kim reaches out to me, I'm like, oh, good, she didn't forget me. Because that's what it's like being in a very cool place around very cool people. You're just always really excited to be included. This one is a poem about spring. Well, it's about seasons. And I don't know about you, but this long, dark winter's really kind of busted me up a little bit. And so this is called Love Song to Hades. I have taken the raw, raked over earth, made it art, my hands pushing up lithe green of shoots, filling the swollen breasts of robins, the slicing call of the cardinal, the fluffy clenched fist of the clover flower, reaching upward, fingers coaxed into bloom. I have made the miracles, making the thaw, painting the brush of the day with longer, broader strokes. I carry the dawn better than Eos. My hem spills out daffodils, my arms carry lambs. A long, bright summer full of feast and life, I tend the fire. I melt the water, I clutch the seedlings to my chest and breathe. Without you, I protect. I fold my fingers around a mound, burying a seed, stirring the dirt, coaxing the embers of life into something that burns in poppy orange, sunflower yellow, rose red. I weave my hair like grain. And I look out at what I've taken from nothing, from sleep. I've curled at your feet, exhausted from work and life, ready to harden and freeze, shell of death and risen to watch the ducklings and calves pepper the hillside. I have changed the world again. I am coming home to you. It's the last thing that I do. It's the best thing that I do. Okay, this one's not as serious, but it's gonna be my last one. So I'm gonna end on a little bit of a zany one. I know from all the workaround poems that they are supposed to mean something. Even if that something is yelled with coffee breath at someone else as you bang your fist upon the table at a writing workshop that you saved up to go to, and you're going to make the most of, damn it. So let me start by saying that this poem is about rain falling. The rain fell as I counted 6 large rocks I kicked with my right toe before I tried a rock too big for my toes and too sharp for my feelings. And despite being angry already, and being angrier still, I felt all the fire go out of me. I changed my mind. This poem is about sadness. Sadness is just anger you had already that wastes your time and the toes of your shoes. The anger I had already burned me awake in the mornings, and I paced the floor of our shitty apartment with the dog piss seeped deep into the carpet padding so we couldn't get it out, even though it wasn't our dogs, and it wasn't our piss, and it wasn't our carpet. But nevertheless, the stains were there. The smells were ours. We paid for them. Let me start again. This poem is actually about carpet maintenance. The carpet is where every speck of skin I shed and you shed and we shed all landed to keep the ones from before company. The carpet was angry with skin cells, in that they were there before and would be there after us and would continue to collect until someone ripped up the carpet or burned the place down. This poem is about loss. We lost each other and gained a carpet. When we lost each other, my life was brittle and vitamin deficient. The fire in my chest burned so hot, I was molten with molting, a volcano shedding crust. Journal entries were just lists of things you missed, bullet points of how I'd changed and you didn't see it. This poem is just a list. The list is now my past. It's a to-do list of what I have done or has been done to me. Grains of sand eroded and deposited, and I am now new current, new coral, new fish. This poem is actually about the ocean, which I now live near. I live near this ocean, and I have only been once, waded up to my waist to forget some new old love, and feeling the shifting of ground under me until I am just kicking against a tide. I do not care that it is cold. I do not care that my toes are numb and have kicked 6 large rocks. My scratched skin angry and throbbing, and the water soothes it. This poem is about how the cold kisses can be the best ones. Thank you all for having me.
Thank you so much, Kim.
In further effort to prove that I know men. Alternately, here is a different form of poem that I have written in the form of my oldest child. What is going on with that? So, this is Ed Dang. And I met him several years back. I had some help. I'm waiting for you to come up.
Love you.
Thanks for being here, sweetheart.
Thanks for inviting me. Hey, everybody. Yeah, we met through Paul too, right? No. No, I'm.
You got some paperwork on you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for letting me be half of why we failed the Bechdel test tonight. But I was asked whether I was playing or I was reading something, so I decided that last minute that I'd read something too. I don't do poetry stuff very often, but sometimes you can't put stuff to music very easily, so I'm weaving myself a mask using careful over-understatements. Pokeweed and burlap. It can be hard to tell from a distance, something to wear to the gig tonight. Eye holes painstakingly spaced. They tell me I need to interface with the audience. Some people are social butterflies. I'm a social submarine, navigating deep, unfriendly waters with nothing but a prayer and a carpenter's level. My ears pop and I'm down again. 6-string security blanket hums me into a fugue state, eyes flashing behind my carefully arranged under-overstatements. And, yeah. In secret. But,
Some things you don't tell your mom.
yeah, exactly, right? I have a couple. Can I do a couple? Yeah. Okay, sure. So this one is this one's called Little Acorn. Let me see. Am I in tune even? Okay, cool. Am I audible? Yeah. All right, awesome. Cool. This one is called Little Acorn. And it doesn't have any lyrics. It just kind of sounds like an acorn rolling. Thank you. And this one's dark and thoughtful, and kind of sounded to me like somebody doing furtive and important lonely work. And being a student full time these days, I find myself doing that very much. But that's this one I'm kind of hesitantly calling The Lighthouse Keeper, because that's kind of furtive and lonely. And I see kind of like a small little lantern going upstairs to a much larger light. Thank you. Love you, Mom. Happy birthday.
Oh, wow. You know, the mythology says that it tells women that you meet somebody who then takes you away from all that. And I'm not actually complaining, but one of the parts of all that my current human took me away from was that being the background noise when I was writing pretty much all the time. So swings and roundabouts. He's a great cook, but but there's no Ed playing background music anymore. unless I make him come to the house for dinner there. So, believe it or not, I will be reading a little bit, but we've got one more poet that I want to hear from. Once again, we really didn't meet because of Paul. No, just the implications. You don't want to start rumors like that in the poetry community. However, this next poet did get introduced to me by Paul. Marya Hornbacher.
What an amazing reading tonight, you guys. Thank you so much for letting me be part of it. Happy birthday, Kim. I'm going to read 3 short prose poems. First one is called The Taste of Bitter Orange. I stood in my kitchen the other day and watched someone cook a shakshuka. They said something about God. I told a story about my father. They said something about the theater. I told a story about God. They said something about Russia and rye bread and the 27 stages of fermentation, or maybe it was just 2 stages of fermentation, but it took 27 hours. And the way they were chasing the memory of a taste, they couldn't find the taste of the bread they grew up with, the tang of rye, but also bitter and also sweet. I told this story about the dinged tin spoons. They said they finally found the answer they were seeking in 19th century Russian cookbook that called for an ingredient that no longer exists. I told a story about Nicholas, Bishop of Myra, patron saint of Russia, and wandered off to write a story about the taste of bitter orange. Excerpt from a conversation on metaphor, a seduction. A friend of mine tells me that sometimes things break into atoms. Not literally, of course, though of course things break into atoms all the time. But she means she'll be sitting there at dinner with her lover and the lover will suddenly disintegrate, become particulate, atomic, each proton visible, trembling nuclei spinning or doing whatever nuclei do. Quarks, anyway, spin at a rate so great the integer that represents their speed is infinitesimally small, almost impossible to see with the naked eye, but not if you're my friend, who sees things differently and knows the names of the quarks, because I told her I thought it might be useful information to have. The names of the quarks are as follows: top, bottom, up, down, charm, and strange, though my friend the physicist told me recently that their names are not real names, the kind that are intended to signify something about the quark. There is no quality of charm to the quark named charm, or strangeness to strange. I'd assumed that the quarks would have names that meant something because they're so poetic, but she said to me sternly, no, they mean nothing. I said, then they are not like tides. And she said, no, they are not like tides. I also know the name of the tides. There are 5 types: oceanic, earth, internal, atmospheric, and galactic tides. This last, of course, refers to tides of stars, the riptides and currents that crash on the shores of space, the cosmological pattern of ripple and pull. I said to my friend, the physicist, how is that not a metaphor for something? She said, it's just not. She showed me a picture on her computer, a pink and orange amorphous shape positioned on a grid. She said, this is dark matter. Well, not dark matter itself, but more precisely an inexact representation of the position of dark matter in space. I said, trying to trick her, catch her in some kind of net or web of metaphor, tangle her up in sheets of stars, discontain her, disperse her, make her atomic or subatomic, send her spinning outward in all directions. And I said, what is dark matter anyway? She said, probably a particle. I said, but what if it's not? She said with great satisfaction, then it's something else. And I saw that she was glowing a little in the rainy afternoon light. She was tiny, precise, hermetically sealed, and I said in a rush, luminosity is constant regardless of distance. And she lifted her face and said to me, yes. And I said, total radiant energy and apparent light. And she said again, yes. And I said, dark matter is inferred from its effects. And she sighed, yes. And her eyes drifted close and her light intensified enormously. And gradually she became somewhat diffuse. This is the last one I'll read. This is called, and sorry for those of you who were at the collapse reading the other night, you heard this. Here we go again. It's called What is Monstrous is Also Love. Tiny dragon. Small imaginary beast crouched at the outset of awe with my intricate backwards knees, my bony leathery wings. I fold these wings about my face, tuck myself into them, and dangle upside down at night by my feet like a bat. It's hard to explain. I don't let lovers spend the night, or didn't, at least. You changed all that. I scuttled over the night we met, crouched like a golem nearby, glancing. You were tall and elegant on the painted white wrought iron bench. You leaned and smoked like Ingrid Bergman, except with your dark hair and your staggering décolleté. I wanted very much to bite, but just a little bit. I looked away, anywhere but there, anywhere but at your long and swan-like neck, your drifting open and closed eyes. I tried to make a joke. opened my underbite jaw and croaked, voice rusty and weird from lack of use. Your eyes widened in delight. You leaned my way. It was awful, terrible. I snapped my jaw shut, hid my craggy, awful teeth. How could a creature of your dizzying, terrible beauty ever kiss this? I stared at the rickety back staircase that led up to somewhere. I stared at the woman alone in her hat, bent over her beer. I stared at the sky. I curled up like a roly-poly bug for a second. You tilted your head like the RCA dog, listened to the sound of me wailing a weird, reedy tune, oboe, piccolo, Coltrane climbing the rafters to the heavens on the broken swinging ladder of his most perfect bent and soundless notes. Usually nobody hears it. It's too high for human ears. I sang my tiny song to soothe myself, but you heard. You did the tiny gasp. You made the shape with your lips that you make. It's almost like a smile, but a bow. If a bow was a laugh, if laughter was a current of sorrow so far below the surface no one could see it, the sound of water braiding with water, too sweet and low for human ears to hear, the sort of sound someone would make if they murmured into someone else's shoulder in sleep. You make it when you turn your face, close your eyes. Sometimes you cover your mouth when you do it. Sometimes you put your own fingers in your mouth. Sometimes I put my fingers in your mouth to help you hold on to your voice, to reach for the current of sadness like laughter, to feel the slippery bow of your lips. Last night in firelight you did it and cried out. I thought I'd hurt you with my terrible, craggy teeth and my claws. You weren't hurt, you said, and held me harder than you ever have, and I whispered into your skin, I'm sorry. I won't hurt you. Don't let go.
At the part of the art creation where you're a little concerned that you've revealed too much. It's entirely possible. I'm going to read a couple poems myself, and then we'll bring up the lights and all of those things that happen. Every year for my birthday, I put together a little chapbook, and I give out a few of them. This year's one is called Decode a Ring in the Language of Flowers. Sleeping with the shades up, the moonlight clears the upper right-hand corner of the window and taps my left eye open. Blanket and garden silence, a frog itself calling place, explaining water and somehow rhyming with the Neosho, and carpets of penny frogs, 50 or more years gone, before the BART rails, sound felt in fingertip and vertebra, only in the gauze of just dawn, house sparrows engineer the morning, voices distinct, my human geometry, temporary protection from the ferals here by the fruit trees and the dance sage. They bustle like grandmas with plastic shopping bags and headscarves. Green and red flash of a male Anna scolds me with clicks. Too close to the flowers. How often have I forged hummingbirds, each tail feather tipped in cream or a dark eye, a rest surrounded by red flash feathers. Just a palm's worth of life. Bus awkward, dinosaur shriek in these narrow streets, maybe 3 feet at a time. A rackety progress, a memory hiding under blankets. Last Thursday I rained so long there was a flood 1,000 miles away. The rivers jumped their banks, forgot their day jobs, held hands, danced spirals, carved glyphs of change into sandstone. Scientists will be pulling their eyebrow hairs in distraction for decades. So mysterious was my raining. Reporters missed it, still don't know. I rained so hard, there will be myths that don't need to be written. The goddess of deep water raised her snout, breathed deep my unformed, unpracticed scream of rain. She murmured something about skipping generations, smiled, scratched her nose with a single claw, and let me get on with it. I have too many angry poems about what's going on right now. There are poems we write because we hope they will go stale. Mm-hmm. We hope we won't need that poem. And And it's been really disappointing for about 20 years. Like, really? The homeless poem is still valid? The poems about what happened when the levees broke are still valid? What is wrong with us? Decode a burning church. The frantic alligatoring of the wood under white gas. There's panic here, offering the burnt siding, paint blistered and smoked, and what is red by the light of a burning church? What huddled things are called out of sagging corners to stretch in this difficult light? There's panic here, scattered through the choking loss, not of the wood, the fact of a building, though we've lost that too, but the sanctuary, the protective idea has burned and shuddered. There is panic here, and the call to panic, threat of what some hold themselves as hope, the beating of a set fire, the strange, uncomfortable things that are called into such a light, lifted up by such a smoke. Thank you for helping me celebrate my birthday. I win. I get another year. And I absolutely love I know that I love most of the people in this room. There are some of you that I don't know if I love you or not yet because I don't know you. Still working on that. And the people who might be watching from elsewhere, thank you for celebrating this with me. You just encouraged me too much. I am going to keep writing, so I hope that's not too big a problem. Thank you, Eric, once again. In this time of despair and difficulty, we get to keep what we support. Buy a book. Take care.